Stay informed about your water. Wilmington Water's new website is full of information about your services, and you can easily pay your bill. You can also sign up for Wilmington Water's alert system to quickly receive texts, emails, and phone calls about water outages and maintenance work that could impact your day. Visit wilmingtondewater.gov today for more information about everything Wilmington Water has to offer. That's wilmingtondewater.gov.
Always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We're live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort Casino is your spot. A very entertaining 3-hour program lined up today. Guests on the show, professional gambler Blair Rodman. His new book, all about sports betting, is in studio in 90 minutes. As he said on a recent podcast with our buddy Anthony Curtis, hasn't had a, quote, job since 1985. Pretty good at this whole racket. Brett McMurphy later on, college football. We'll get into that world today. Obviously, week 0 is upon us. And a lot of reaction from the National Football League, Paulie, which I don't really know where to begin based on the news yesterday. But the Deshaun Watson stuff popped earlier today, and how this kind of flipped. I mean, if you go back only a couple of days ago, before their second preseason game, Watson was about 86% to be named the Week 1 starter for the Browns. He was available at minus 620 national sports books or prediction markets around those numbers. That dropped to minus 140 or 58%. It dropped almost 30%. And then today, here you go, Browns. Yep, we're going to go with him. Yep. Anyway, doesn't matter what's going on. I know that you want us to fire him. The fans do. The media does. He basically said, no, he's our guy.
They're going down with the ship. Everyone's laughing at him today. They should have let go of him years ago. They just feel they're pot committed because of the worst trade in NFL history, which is saying something. I'm from Minnesota, and it's the worst contract in NFL history. When he's played in the 19 games, his QBR is 33, worst in the league. And then he comes out and he says it. I mean, he's telling you what's going to happen. It's going to be like 17 road games when I'm out there. They're booing you because you've been pathetic.
That's exactly right.
They're booing you because you've ruined the franchise. Why'd you even draft Sanders? That's the other thing.
Why they draft Gabriel?
That's another one, too. So he can't, and this has just been the craziest preseason I can remember where nothing makes sense. This guy, a veteran who's had success in the league, can't move the ball against third-string guys and fourth-string guys and even get a first down.
Right.
And then he made it worse with the post-game presser afterwards, and then apologized, though, afterwards. So 42 different quarterbacks since 1999. Tony Rizzo's on the show tomorrow. He's going to say, well, it's a 2-game audition. Well, what are we doing then? Because the first 2 games are on the road, so then if he stinks, they'll go back to Sanders to open up against Carolina.
Well, what wasn't the preseason supposed to be an audition as well?
Yeah, no kidding. They blew this. Absolutely, they can't get out from under this contract and feel like you said, though, last week, the worst thing that can happen is if he actually plays well, because then he's a free agent.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Then what? Well, I doubt it as well. But then what are you going to do? So you might as well play either one of the 2 guys you drafted, or else you're just looking at a quarterback in the first round anyways.
Well, and here's the problem, by the way. I actually think the Browns roster, beyond the quarterback position, which is obviously the most important position in the entire league and the sport, they're pretty good. I mean, their defense is going to be rock solid yet again this year. We've talked about this on recent shows here on VSiN. I actually think the weapons on offense, not bad. Overall, I think this team, if you put them up like 53 players compared to other 53 players, for example, like the Jets, definitely the Dolphins, I think they are clearly better. But the quarterback position is so bad that's going to be maybe the one reason why they're going to be in the mix for most losses the entire year, fewest wins. Yeah. Depends on how you want to look at that market.
Yeah. It's 10 new offensive starters. It's going to be tough. And that could be a survivor play week 1 with Jacksonville.
If they, honestly, if they had an average quarterback, like if they had Kyler Murray, or if they had somebody in that same tier as Kyler Murray, Browns might be, they would be tricky this year.
Well, we saw it a couple of years ago. That's why they're pissed at Watson. Flacco was like us, watching games on the couch. And then they sign him, and he goes to the playoffs. And they win 11 games. And he gets comeback player of the year. That's why they're livid, because it looked like a completely different team in offense when he got hurt. Now, they shouldn't boo him when he got hurt and tore his Achilles.
No, of course not.
But still, it's just that they're booing the performance and they're booing the frustration at 230 guaranteed, 3 number ones, a 2, a 3, and a 4th round pick, and they had to guarantee the contract to beat out Atlanta.
Sure. But how delusional, though, for him to think the fans are booing for something else.
Yeah.
The off-the-field stuff. No, pal.
Totally,
Because if here,
well, good point.
I got news for you, Deshaun. If you were actually looking good and a guy that could live up to all that money in that city with their quarterback problems now going on countless years in a row, they would be cheering you like God. But you've been so... By the way, you talked about this on Friday. We had Lisa Ann in studio talking fantasy football, and you said you can't remember other than Mike Tyson, a person doing a 180 with their career like her. Give me the guy that's the comp to Deshaun Watson. Arguably like an MVP type quarterback before all the shenanigans and the injury happened.
Yeah.
To look this bad on the football field after he was that good?
Yeah, that's the other angle. Like, he never owned it, and the 24+ women had accused him of assault and the 11-game suspension. So through all this, he's only played 19 games.
Yeah, nothing's his fault.
That's right.
Ever.
Everyone's out to get him.
Yep. How about this quote from Monken? It's a long one, but bear with me. Here you go. The business we are in is a performance-based business. It is what it is. When we expect a service, you're going to be disappointed when we don't get that service. If you go to a restaurant and your soup comes out cold, you're going to be pissed. That's the way it is. If you order from the grocery store and they deliver and 6 of your eggs are broken, you're going to be pissed. I get it. That's what we're in. That's why we're paid what we are, to perform at a high level. And when we don't, that's the repercussions of it. We've run to this smoke. This is the job we've chosen. End of quote.
Yeah, that's a good line.
It's a phenomenal quote from the
comes with the territory.
New head coach of the Browns.
He had a doozy of a press conference. He had to get into that. He had to get into why Lane Kiffin was calling him. His backup tight end left after he dressed, and now he's going to play at LSU. I mean, he had quite the weekend.
I know it says, it's been talked about over and over and over again the last 48 hours, whatever. What are we doing here? What are we doing with this being a possibility? Where you can come in, be on a team, get money, and he's not the only guy, and then, forget about it. They're going to cut me. I'm going to go back to college.
It's a new transfer portal.
Come on.
Yeah, right.
I know it's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
But do we not have anybody in charge of this thing with a brain?
Uh-huh.
This is actually going to be allowed? How dumb. So, yeah, I don't know. You have Browns under.
Oh, I think they're right there with Miami and Arizona. I think they're that bad. And it's just, no matter who they put in a quarterback, it's going to be a struggle. And I don't like to hire a head coach, and then you'll have this guy hanging around the organization all year, too. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's just, they're not the only team. But it's a big indictment when you can't move the ball against 3rd and 4th string guys and you're competing for jobs.
Oh, you talking
That's
about
alarming. I've never seen it before. I've lived it for 25 years. Following preseason, you can't move the ball against guys who aren't going to be in the league, and you've been in this league for 10+ years, and it doesn't make any sense.
Well, who else are you talking about? I can go back to last night's game.
The Titans had issues.
You
J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz couldn't move the ball.
McCarthy's going to be out of the league.
There's so many guys where at least you've won games or you've been in this league for a while, and you can't even get a first down. And meanwhile, guys like Bouchel or Fagnano, the guy from UConn's moving the ball with the Ravens, how Simpson looks right off the bat. It just, how you can't. Anthony Richardson, another one. What do you have, 30 yards passing?
Yeah.
You're trying to beat out Riley Leonard for the backup spot? I mean, you can't even put up points on the board against 4-string guys. It's nuts.
By the way, there is a soccer match going on right now
Another
in the
one.
Prim. So Chelsea just scored again. Meatman gave them out. He also gave out a guy on this club to lead the EPL top goal scorer. He scored fastest goal ever. Was that Luke? Was that the tweet? 31 seconds in for a day one game or a match. 31 seconds in, and the guy that he gave out scored. Now they lead 3-1 in the 50th minute. So Cam Ward, overall, here are the numbers. Titan starters in, dominated by the Seattle backups. 17 snaps, 13 dropbacks, 8 of 12, 69 yards, 5.8 per attempt. Offensive line did him no favors. He was pressured 31% of the time when he dropped back. Also, dude, you're carrying the ball like this still? You're number 2?
Yeah.
How did you not cut that out in the offseason? Can't happen.
I know.
So that's the easiest forced fumble a defender could ever have in his entire life. And you sounded the alarms last Monday big time on him. And there was a lot of love for the Titans early on in the offseason. I'm starting to come over to your side now, Paulie.
Well, the good news is Watson is now the favorite to be first quarterback benched, which you have an opportunity to bet that now, too. So Tua is the second choice. And now Penix is finally back at practice. I don't know if that's enough time, though, with 11-on-11 drills. Geno's the third choice. So we're going to have a race, and he's even money. So just like, what's the point if it's going to be a 2-week audition to see if he can outdo something with the offense, and then if he struggles, then you put Sanders in there for the first home game, week 3. It's ridiculous.
Yep, they're going to have to win games pretty much like the last couple of years.
Yep.
They got to win them. They got to play in the slop, hopefully. Hopefully they have like bad weather at home sooner than later, and they can win games like 13-10. They have to have Junkins break off a long run defense with a pick six, whatever it is, and just allow absolutely nothing to the opposing offense. Because this guy is completely cooked, evidently.
Yeah.
And my level of faith in Sanders to be better than him that doesn't exist. What a draft they had.
Yep.
What a stinking draft.
Yep.
The same exact weekend they
can't find that quarterback.
God.
They thought they had it with Mayfield. How about then they let Mayfield go, and then he turns out to be good and wins games?
Of course.
Although he did win a playoff game for you, but taking him number 1 overall. They just can't get this right since since Bernie Kosar. They can't get it right.
No.
And those are a plethora of first-round picks, too.
Sure. How many different front offices?
Brutal.
How many different head coaches?
Oh, they're losing their minds there.
Just over and over and over again.
Good timing, though, if you're Jed York, that they dropped this today, though. Good timing with him. I don't know what's in the water there in Ohio. What's people losing their minds?
Billionaire owner busted in a trailer park in Ohio, $140.
I asked our guy from Youngstown, Stewart. He goes, it's East Palestine's in the middle of nowhere. What, he pull up in a limo? $140? You're a billionaire? Wife shut the water off on him? I can't believe it.
Up next, we'll dive into the Ashton Genty news. It was total panic mode yesterday, and I can take you through all of the important numbers. We're moving in real time next here on VSiN.
Stay informed about your water. Wilmington Water's new website is full of information about your services, and you can easily pay your bill. You can also sign up for Wilmington Water's alert system to quickly receive texts, emails, and phone calls about water outages and maintenance work that could impact your day. Visit wilmingtondewater.gov today for more information about everything Wilmington Water has to offer. That's wilmingtondewater.gov.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Really looking forward to this conversation. New book out, all about sports betting. Blair Rodman is the author. Hasn't had a full-time job since 1985. Joins us in studio here to discuss what's in the book and his career in general. Great to meet you, Blair. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm great.
So I think I have this right. You made the prize money 6 times playing at 3 final tables in the 2004 World Series of Poker.
Yeah, that was a good year.
It sounds like it was a good year.
Oh, it was the last year at Binion's, which, these kids, they don't know what they missed. Binion's was great.
Yeah.
And then they moved to the Rio and whatever. But the old-timers they were rotten. They'd steal your eye teeth, but they were entertaining. It was fun back then.
So to the point of where it flips so much now that you got out of it?
Yeah. Yeah, I in 2004, I had to decide between cash games and tournaments, and I picked tournaments because you can make outside money anyway, different ways. And I really like the World Series tournaments, but they're 4 days of 14-hour days, and it's just, I can't do it anymore. I wish I could. The main event's like 8 days. Even the kids complain about that. But it was good while it lasted. I moved on.
Made more than $700,000 overall?
I think my cash is like $2.5 million or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I got $700 for the bracelet.
$700 for the bracelet, and then overall $2.5 in your career playing at the World Series?
Yeah. Well, playing tournaments everywhere.
Okay. And you met, so Anthony Curtis, Mr. Las Vegas Advisor, has been on the show many, many times. You met him playing rugby like back in 1980?
Yeah. Rugby's a great sport, and it's a great social sport. So when I got to Vegas in 1980, my birthday, and I found the rugby club, and I met Anthony, and I also met Max Rubin, who's a very well-known blackjack and advantage player. And through them, I met all kinds of people, because when I got here, I loved to gamble and didn't know anything about it. I was an idiot. I used to talk to Anthony. I like playing craps, and he'd laugh at me. And he said, "I'm going to teach you what it's really about." And he did. And I met Stanford Wong. Wong was putting together a casino tournament team. He just liked solving problems. And he said, Anthony said, "I got a good player for you." So we got on that team, traveled around with him for years. And then at the end of 1989 or so, the casino started throwing out the talented casino tournament players.
I was going to say, what was your reaction? What were the conversations like with the team when that first happened?
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, let's move on. And then two of the guys, Alan Brown was one of the main ones. He said, "I got a friend in the government, a high-level government programmer, and he thinks he can beat NBA." He says, "You want to get involved?" I said, "Yeah, why not? I got nothing to do now." So we did that, and then it was 10 years of the best 10 gambling years of my career. It was great.
Is that right?
Wow.
So Alan Brown had a friend, awesome with a computer, obviously, like you said.
Yeah.
Reaches out, you want to get involved in betting the NBA, and this is right after the tournaments kind of collapsed because you got kicked out.
Yeah. So, John had been messing around with it, during his government job in his free time, and he said, "I think I can beat this." He started with totals. And I said, "Yeah." So it was John Marana and Alan Brown and myself and Joe Nienaber. Unfortunately, the other three guys have passed away recently, but I'm the last survivor. And then we went on to 10 years of the most fun 10 years of my gambling career. It was great.
What was it like? Because you mentioned in a podcast that I watched recently with Anthony Curtis that those days were 6, 7 months out of the year, 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week, nonstop with the NBA. What was it like grinding out that much basketball before cell phones, before the internet?
Yeah, I liked it so much, and it was interesting. Learning the first couple of years were learning years, and we worked real hard, and we weren't sure if we were going to keep going. And then Alan came in one day because information. He said if we had perfect injury information, we would have destroyed them. So how do we get the information? So he came up with something that no one else had ever thought of. We got faxing, clipping services in every city with a team, and they would fax us the sports pages in the morning. And we'd go in at 6 a.m, start reading that day's sports pages, and no one else was getting them. So at that time, we couldn't bet a lot. 34th year when we started betting New York bookies, they wouldn't come up till the afternoon. But we could get injuries and sit on them all day, and no one would find out.
Oh, wow.
We found out Olajuwon was out one game, and we sat on it all day, and then we just pounded him at 4 o'clock. And it was like, wow. No one had it. Billy didn't have it. No one had him. No one had the injuries we had.
So you were pretty much the only group betting the NBA like that back then?
Yeah, pretty much.
How many books existed in town at the time?
There was quite a few. So we started with two guys. I would go to the Strip, and someone else would go downtown. And I would park at the Mirage and probably do 10 books, and my partner would go downtown and do all the ones down here, including Leroy's and all the ones that aren't there anymore. And so we get like 20 books. And totals I could only bet 300 most places, the Mirage a dime. But there was no Don Best. It was 1989. No one knew. So when we got to betting where we had to bet all we could, I could make three trips around my route, and they would never move the line. So it was great. So I'll never forget this good story. So at the Holiday at the time, I was beating them up, and there was a female sportsbook manager, and she had just got her Don Best screen in like 93 maybe, or whenever they first came out. So I walk in, I look at Knicks. I want the Knicks over 190, and she sees me from the back, come running out and said, "Hang on a second." And she went to her Don Best screen and changed all the totals on the board. I said, "What do you want to bet now?" And I just said, "Oh boy, this is the end of an era."
You knew it right there and then.
Man. What's that?
You knew it right there and then.
Oh yeah. I said, "This is trouble."
These are all different books with under different ownership.
Yeah.
That's what a day.
But when they started moving on air, moving without
sure.
taking a bet, it was kind of brutal.
Oh,
so
man.
we found other ways. Then we had to find bookies. Then we ended up going offshore, and outs are the key.
That was back when all those big payphone banks, right? Stardust, other books, obviously, kind of close to the sports book. You guys just had to walk on foot, get over there, be there at this time, and kind of communicate that way.
Yeah, I went to the Stardust Lottery for a while, trying
Did you?
things.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good story. So when Paul Westhead got hired by Denver, he nobody knew what he was going to do, but he had just come from wherever he come, Loyola Marymount, wherever he went, and run up the score. No one he's going to do. So it's the first day of the season, and Al says, "I want you to go down and I want you to bet over on the Denver as much as you can." So it opened at like 255. I bet 255, got back in line, bet 258, bet 260 something, bet 269. Then I stopped. It went off at like 315.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
And they scored like 320 something. That was crazy. We had like a 70-point middle. And I said, "You want to take the middle?" He's like, "No."
No middle? No middle.
No, it's great.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
yeah.
What
I
a
don't
time.
remember those days, but oh, my God, it was
I remember
crazy.
him at Marymount, what they did as well.
Yep.
I've lived here for 26 years. Before I got here, I was in Minnesota. I remember buying the USA Today. In the sports section, on the back, it would say, "Hey, my Monday night lock, I'm 90% on the year and all this." And then once I moved here, I'm like, my God, there's touts all over the place in the ads. So what'd you think of how that came out and what you thought a tout was?
The old-time touts were hilarious.
Yeah.
You remember the
Screaming
Sunday,
at
the
'em.
screamers and all this stuff? Yeah, I link, in the book, I have a lot of QR codes that link to articles, link to some of those old things. There's lots of interesting stuff. Lots of the unabated stuff, some Spanky's podcasts, which I thought were great. And yeah, it was interesting. But the touts now, it's of course, changed with the internet. I think the most dangerous tout now are the influencers who are getting their hooks in these kids and convincing them that they know what they're doing and they don't. And the kids a lot of people are getting in trouble. And I read something the other day that really amazed me is I get AARP magazine because I'm old, and seniors are getting in a lot of trouble. And when you lose your money as a senior and lose everything you have, you don't have a way to recover. It's really kind of sad.
Are seniors getting duped by young influencers then?
No, they're just getting hooked on betting. You're sitting around, you're bored. I'm retired, but I sit around. That's what I do for entertainment. But these people don't know anything about it, but they got to do something, and all of a sudden they're seeing, DraftKings, FanDuel, blah, 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 do all this stuff, and they get sucked into it without a clue. They could use my book too. Because the purpose of this book is, I love betting sports. I love sweating sports. But I do the best I can to cut down or reverse, overturn the house edge as much as possible. And I don't spend 14 hours a day anymore. And, I do it for entertainment, which is what most people should do. My theory is,
you're right.
If 99% of the people who bet sports and love to bet sports because they like the excitement and everything could break even at the end of the year, they should take it in a minute, which is the goal. I give enough. We progressed through, I wanted to give an entire reference book type of thing with the sports. So I went through all kinds of stuff, and I wanted to tell that story about my group. And then Anthony came and he said, "We need a strategy section." Like, yeah, okay. Do the best I can. I'm not a super genius, but Frank B is. And Frank agreed to come on board, and, he was thinking about writing a book. He'll never get it done. But there's a lot of Frank in this book, in that chapter. We end up with a 100-page strategy chapter.
Yeah, I was going to say, the book, the one chapter is called, it's 97 pages overall.
Yeah. So I wrote about, our group, and we won, obviously. And the next next chapter is, if we won, can you win? Which is the title of it. And then we go on, and we give the ways you can. We start with bonuses and bonus strategies, and then, get into top-down and bottom-up betting. And
I want to expand on that because we're up against it here. Blair Rodman's our guest. The name of the book is all about sports betting, available now. It's going to be dynamite. Anthony Curtis, Frank B, as he mentioned, helped out with the book as well. I want to get into how many, quants, computer groups out there, how they basically dictate all the numbers, moving, and everything like that. So what is the right approach then? Handicapping games? You want to go top down? What to do with Blair Rodman coming up next?
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board. Thanks for watching, as always, on YouTube TV, listening on SiriusXM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our affiliates across the country. Busy hour coming up. In 15 minutes, we'll get into today's Major League Baseball card. Bottom of the hour, professional gambler Blair Rodman in studio. New book out, all about sports betting. Going to be a great listen and interview with him coming up at that time, Paulie. Here, we're going to start off the hour with 5 bold predictions in the National Football League this year.
Uncle Buck always said playing cards around the house, be bold. Go big. We're going to try to do it right now. For only the 4th time since 2002, no team will go worst to first. I'm surprised it's minus $2 at DK. The candidates that stick out, Detroit and New Orleans. Paul Bovey was on last week. He's down on Detroit. I think they're going to be improved, but again, it's much ado about the schedule. But in a tough division, I could see Minnesota or Chicago, maybe or Green Bay edging them out. Could be a key injury. Who knows? And then the Saints in a wacky division after how well Shuck played, coming off a 6-11 season. But a lot of love for Tampa. Baker Mayfield says we're going to shock the world. What happens in Carolina? Begging Atlanta to improve offensively. And Penix finally cleared to do 11-on-11 drills. But only the fourth time since 2002, no team will go worst to first.
Who wins those two divisions then?
I'm going to say Minnesota.
Oh, wow. Big number there.
Yep. And it's a lot based on the coaching staff and the fact that they won 9 games last year. And I'll still stick with Tampa, even though they stuck at my ear last year. I'll come back with Tampa Bay. Too much talent on offense.
Okay.
I'll pivot here on the spot. Seattle misses the playoffs, and the 49ers miss the playoffs.
Both.
Seattle, they're going to miss Kubiak. They're going to miss Walker. And then can Sam Darnold do it again as everyone's gunning for you? Not a lot of talk about him, though, right? Out of a defending champ, where it's more about the Rams and every other team in the NFC like Chicago and who can come out of there, and not much talk about. And then sometimes you just have to say, you know what, Mitch, sometimes it's not our year. And everything. Already with the injuries, your head coach gets in a car accident, and then your owner trying to pick up some skank for $140 at a trailer park gets arrested over the weekend, and you have to come out with a press release if the guy's going to show up in East Palestine, Ohio.
The least amount of preseason hype for a defending champion since what team? I would honestly have to go back and look.
The 0-1 Patriots?
Maybe it's been that long.
I know, everyone's kind of saying the same thing. Great story. Okay, Sam, do it again.
Do it again.
And the Rams are going to win 15 games.
Sure.
Right? I kind of see what Lou's getting at with losing the center, but it feels like, again, one and done for the Ravens as the window's closed and they missed their chance. Going 14-2, losing as a double-digit favorite at home to Tennessee, hosting the AFC title game against the Chiefs and favored, couldn't get it done. -3 in the turnover differential when you outplayed Buffalo, and then Andrews with the critical drop. Lamar Jackson with the fumble. You couldn't even make the playoffs last year. You get rid of Tucker and you bring in the new kid wide right against Pittsburgh. It just feels like the division's too strong, the AFC's too strong, and it's not going to work out for the Ravens. The Browns are one of the worst teams in the league and should be lined with Miami and Arizona. A text from one of my guys in Cleveland. Bad defense, no depth. Both quarterbacks stink. Fade them all season long.
Well, he's wrong. The defense is absolutely not bad.
Well, we'll see what he says tomorrow. He thinks it's a bad defense, but in any event, I just think it's going to be and also, you're admitting your mistake, but you're also tying it into number one. And I wrote it yesterday that you cannot start Watson. Now it's like after he struggles in the first 2 weeks, go to Sanders, and that's it for Watson. They have to sit there and take this after the sins of the organization and ownership. What they did. Bad enough the contract, then you gave up 3 number ones, and then you're going to put out there and say he gives us the best chance to win, even though he doesn't. And what's the point of drafting Sanders anyways? You got to sit through.
Here's what's going to happen. Watson's going to start the first 2 games. It's going to be as ugly as everybody thinks.
Right.
They're going to be forced to go to Sanders, and it's going to get worse. Then they'll say panic move. Let's see what Gabriel has. Then it's going to be all-time bad, and then they're going to go back to Watson, and then they'll play the quarterback carousel the entire year. That's my prediction for what's going to happen with the Browns. No matter who they put in there, the offense is going to look absolutely dreadful.
Probably how it goes.
Uh-huh.
Yep. There it is.
Oh, you had number 1?
But they can't start. They shouldn't start Watson.
Okay. All right.
And I like what Kevin Clark said, too, about pathetic. And why even do this charade with the first 2 games? Like it's being deemed as an audition. Because you know how bad it's going to be week 3 when you come back home.
Right.
He said it.
Right.
You know what it's going to be. It's 17 road games.
My bold predictions entering the year. I don't know how bold this is, but Bill Barnwell today, ESPN, wrote about his 5 teams to improve from last year. One of them was the New York Giants. Well, they won 4 games. I'm going to say the Giants disappoint this year, and it's not going to go well for John Harbaugh. And people at the end of this year will start to question whether or not he still has his fastball or not. Because it's going to be tied into how poorly it ended in Baltimore. And again, difficult schedule overall. Guys can't stay healthy. Let me rephrase. Coming off of severe injuries, I like the front 7, the front 4 especially. Secondary question marks absolutely remain. Good weapons overall, but tough schedule, and they're going to win. a disappointing year is for this team to stay under their win total,
Right.
which is what they're going to do.
6 wins is a disappointment, no doubt. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. 7, too.
The Chargers will flop again.
Oh, no.
Yep. That's a tough division.
Yeah.
If Mahomes plays a full year. Broncos, I don't know how good the Broncos are going to be, but at least they're a solid team. Injuries already happening on the offensive line. I know you've talked about it a couple of times already. Like, all the makings here for this team should be outstanding, but I can't get over that schedule that they have from like weeks 3 through 10. We're all talking about the Cardinals' difficult schedule. The Chargers, I hope they start 2-0. The play at that point is going to come back and fire on a win total under based on their schedule from weeks 3 through 10. It's one of the most difficult stretches you're ever going to get. And oh, by the way, their rest disadvantage this year, overall 24 games, 24 days, that's like the second most since Warren Sharp's been tracking this stuff. Going all the way back like 20, 25 years. And I think we're going to be asking the question again this year, like, Herbert's not going to get a pass anymore, right? This is a tweet from Richard Eng.
No. Can't do it.
What's that?
You can't give him give him a pass. You're right.
Richard Eng, longtime horse racing aficionado. In fact, he wrote Betting on Horse Racing for Dummies. He says, long shot, but if McCarthy gets cut, Harbaugh picks him up with the Chargers. Nobody knows him any better. My bold prediction number 3, Jahmyr Gibbs will be a finalist for the league MVP. Now, this is something, and I love that they're doing this, and I would encourage every sports book to do the same thing. At Kalshi, you can bet on which player will be a finalist for certain awards. Now, there's no liquidity in those markets yet, but there will be at some point. And I would like to take a big number on Jahmyr Gibbs to be one of the finalists to win the MVP this year. It has all the makings again with this super soft schedule. Mm-hmm. He's going to be the focal point. You've heard this 1,000 times over and over and over, but this is the team that I had circled based on their opponents many, many months ago. And this dude potentially is sitting on 23, 24, 2,500 yards from scrimmage, like pushing 90 catches, 22, 25 touchdowns, something like that. And if those numbers are hit, he'll be a finalist to win the MVP. Another bold prediction. Another year of losing for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And by that, I mean not winning the AFC. Mm-hmm. They haven't done it yet, and I don't have a lot of faith that it's going to get done. I don't think this is the year for either one of those guys. And Lamar has been blamed ad nauseum, going all the way back to that 2019 loss against Tennessee, even though they had 500-plus yards. This is the year if it doesn't get done. I just said that about Herbert. People are really going to start to question Josh Allen. Fair or unfair, I know he's been good in a bunch of playoff losses. Last year was not one of them. He was a disaster against the Broncos. But also, these windows don't stay open forever. And it has to happen sooner or later, or else it's not going to happen. And my boldest prediction of the entire year, Paul Howard, is that your Dallas Cowboys...
No, you're not.
...make the NFC title game.
Oh, my God. Get out of here.
Hasn't happened in 3 decades.
They're the only team.
Yeah.
They're the only team in the NFC that hasn't made the title game in 30 years.
This is their year.
How about that?
Even though the NFC is loaded, especially when you compare it to the AFC. No.
That's impossible.
Not to happen for that long.
They're the only team.
Yeah.
Every other team in the NFC has made the title game.
Yeah, that's one of the most incredible stats going back for sure. Total indictment on Jerry Jones and how he runs the team as well.
Oh,
but
wow.
I can say this with total confidence. The offense will be top 2, top 3 in the league this year. Prescott might be in the mix to win the MVP. If he stays healthy, he could. And I just, again, kind of like what I said about the Texans earlier, I'm buying that C.J. Stroud's going to be a little bit better. I think the defense is going to be better than the worst in the entire league last year.
You're going to put Hurts on that list, too? About
now or never?
Yeah, because I know he has a Super Bowl, but you can't blame anyone else now. It's A.J. Brown's fault. Oh, it's the offensive coordinator's fault. That's right. It's Sirianni's fault.
I'd like to just see Jalen Hurts bounce back after having I know the numbers were not awful. I think it was 25 touchdowns, 6 INTs, but Paul, they went several times where is he going to complete a pass in the second half?
Yeah. Remember, yeah.
Like that actually happened.
Sal said the offensive issues were all him. College football guides out week 0 Saturday. Preview of every team. Humans, Stone, preseason top 10. Proven betting systems, best bets, ton of win totals. And with VSiN Pro, you also get the NFL betting guide, the Fantasy Life Fantasy Football Guide, real-time betting splits, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video on the Watch app. Try it today, just $9.99. Lock in a full year. Save 50% with the VSiN Pro annual subscription. Head to vsin.com/subscribe now, vsin.com/subscribe. Good portal, too, up there with Adam Burke with everything with these 8 or 9 college games on Saturday. Check it out.
And Chelsea did hang on, by the way, against Fulham. They won that match 3-2 to begin. Meatman had the money line?
Yeah, good start.
That's right.
Yep.
Up next, we'll hit on today's Major League Baseball card. He is 6-1 with a 1.19 career ERA at the park in which he is pitching tonight. Find out which starter next here on VSiN.
Stay informed about your water. Wilmington Water's new website is full of information about your services, and you can easily pay your bill. You can also sign up for Wilmington Water's alert system to quickly receive texts, emails, and phone calls about water outages and maintenance work that could impact your day. Visit wilmingtondewater.gov today for more information about everything Wilmington Water has to offer. That's wilmingtondewater.gov.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
College football week 0 is upon us. More on that now as we go out to the Progressive guest line. America's Insider Brett McMurphy joins the program now. He is with On3. So close. We've been able to taste it for a couple of weeks, but it's finally here, my friend.
Yeah, hopefully we can stop talking about lawsuits and portal transfer. I guess we're going to keep talking about guys that were in the NFL coming back to play college, but at least when we have some games going, that stuff will hopefully go to the background.
Well, I have to ask you about it. It's bananas, right? So Lane Kiffin said because of these rulings, they're going to play for you or someone else around the country is going to get them. LSU assigned 3 guys that were just waived, and the kid for the Browns suited up Saturday. Now he's going to play tight end for LSU.
He probably should play quarterback for the Browns, but I'm not an NFL guy.
Yeah.
I'm not an NFL guy. Yeah, Paulie, I mean, look, we've seen this a million times. Somebody gets a ruling they don't like, they get an injunction, they get a lawyer, they lawyer up, whatever. We'll have to see what happens. I mean, it's unfortunate that there is no ruling body in college football, but that's not a secret. But yeah, this stuff is going to continue to happen. I don't have a dog in the fight, so it really doesn't matter to me. But it's almost kind of like once a decision has been made, can anybody just stick with the decision instead of if you don't get the result you want? It's like, oh, I got to appeal this. What happened to get off my yard? What happened with making a decision and sticking by it, whether it's good or bad, and just go forward? But, that's not where it works today.
Totally agree. How big of a deal is this to you as Tennessee today announced that true freshman Faison Brandon is going to start week 1 against Furman? They get Georgia Tech the next week after that. Brett, former top 10 overall recruit and a 5-star.
Yeah, I mean, they're really excited about him. Running Heupel's offense, is going to be showcase your skills. It was a close battle, but, they're confident with him. I mean, Tennessee, all we heard, during the SEC media days is all the coaches except for John Summerall crying about this 9-game schedule. So the question is, how many of these quarterbacks are going to be able to make it through this 9-game schedule? But, Tennessee's not at the top of the SEC as far as the power ratings and I think the preseason predictions and all that stuff. I've got them going to the ReliaQuest Bowl just outside of the playoff. But, you wonder there's got to be somebody besides Texas, besides Georgia, possibly Oklahoma in that second tier that can jump up and get in the playoff. I think Tennessee potentially can be one of those teams. And I don't hold it against them that they've got a first-year guy starting either. The last 22 years, the starting quarterback that won a national championship, 11 was a first-time starter and 11 was a returning starter. So I think that's in today's game that's irrelevant. But I think it's good for the Vols, and let's see what they can do.
We start the season with Belichick. How do you think North Carolina is going to do, and what happens Saturday?
Well, I don't know. Unless they've just been playing possum and self-inflicting wounds to make everyone kind of overlook them, then I'm not expecting much from Carolina. I think what's the win total? 4.5, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of sharp folks like the under there. I would have to agree with that. TCU, I think can be sneaky good. They've got Hoover was the quarterback last year. They got the transfer from Harvard. I was told the big difference between them is Hoover would force stuff. When stuff's not there, he would throw it deep, force it. That's why he had a lot of turnovers. And perhaps part of that is they were trailing in games. They didn't have a good run game, whatever it may be. But their quarterback now, the transfer from Harvard, he will check it down. He'll take 5 yards and move to second down. And so I think TCU should be a lot better turnover-wise. Is that going to translate to more wins? I don't know, but I like TCU. The number's almost pushing 7. That may be a little bit too much, but I think TCU is the right side.
Okay, what do you make of this Stanford number against Hawaii? They were only favored one time last year against San Jose State. They failed to cover the 3.5 there. They won by 1. They were favored once in 2024. That was against Cal Poly, and they were favored once in 2023. And they lost to FCS Sacramento State. I know Hawaii is out without their star wide receiver, but should the Cardinal be laying this many points?
That's fine with me. I'll take them. I'll take the points. I like Hawaii here. I'd really like it if it wasn't a revenge game for Stanford. But with the portal, I mean, really, how many guys were on that team last year that'll be like, oh yeah, remember last year? I like what Timmy Chang's doing there. He just got a new 5-year deal at Hawaii. Richly deserved. And the good news for if you want to back Hawaii is you don't have to worry about any travel issues. They're not coming off the mainland and back and forth. It's the first game of the year, so travel's not going to be an option. If there's any negatives when they come to the mainland, it's certainly not going to surface in the season opener. I like Hawaii. I'll take the points. I think they win outright, Mitch.
Big game out. Wow, good for you. Right. Big game out here at night with Memphis and UNLV. Money on the Rebels. It got as high as 6.5. But also maybe a team from the Mountain West can make the playoff. What say you about this game and moving forward with the Mountain West Conference?
Yeah, Paulie, I've got I did my playoff and bowl projections today, and I've got UNLV as the Group of 6 representative. I think they can win the Mountain West. The schedule sets up nicely. They get Cal, I think, 3 or 4 games into the season. So that gives them a chance to get a Power 4 win. I just like what Dan's doing there. And, he's got a very good quarterback with Arnold. I talked to people there. They said they've been very impressed with what he's been able to do. Kind of their bugaboo in the past has been defensively. I mean, you guys, see it, every week out there. But I think, with the influx of transfers they've got and with Arnold at quarterback, I really like UNLV. And I think, we'll see. I could be wrong. It can happen once. But I like UNLV to be their Group of 6 representative and go to the playoffs. So obviously they got to win. They got to win the season opener for that to happen.
Yep. Sure, for else, Brett. At least one 3-loss team will make the playoff this year.
Mitch, I have kept saying all summer, no. But I will put an asterisk with that. If there is chaos in the Big 12, in the ACC, and they don't have a number of 11-1 or 10-2 teams, then I think a 9-3 Big 10 or 9-3 SEC at-large team can get in. But again, guys, we can talk about strength of schedule and we can talk about all that, for the rest of your show. It doesn't matter. The committee has done one thing over and over every year. No matter who's on the committee, they've all done the same thing. They have valued the team with the fewest losses. And until they change that and they pick a 9-3 at-large team over a 10-2 at-large team, I can just go by what they've done for the past 12 years. And again, if there are 10-2 teams from the Big 12, from the ACC out there, I think it's gonna be very, very hard for them to skip them to pick a 9-3 team. The the nightmare scenario for the playoff, and of course I love nightmare scenarios, is BYU plays Notre Dame.
Yeah.
At home, biggest home game in school history, Provo. Let's say BYU beats Notre Dame, and the final rankings, and then BYU loses to Texas Tech, which is a lock, in the Big 12 title game. And then BYU comes in at number 11 in the final poll, and Notre Dame's number 12. And then one of the Power 4 conference champs is ranked outside the top 12. Well, they get an automatic bid because they're the conference champ. Well, guess what? Because Notre Dame is guaranteed a spot in the playoff, in that scenario, Notre Dame would get the final at-large bid over number 11 BYU because Notre Dame is guaranteed a spot if they're in the top 12. So even though BYU won head-to-head, which they do value, if they ranked 11, they would get leapfrogged by Notre Dame. And, yeah, tell me you wouldn't have a lot to talk about that week.
Glad you thought of that one. Oh, my God. That's in play.
Oh, man. So many people are going to go scorched earth under that scenario.
You got to root for it, man.
You have to. Honestly, now that's the only thing I want to happen this year.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But I do like Notre Dame. I think they're a top 5 team, top 7. Obviously, a lot of people have said the same thing. Can win the national title. But again, they've got a 2 or 3 game schedule, and they've got to win those 2 or 3 games. Miami, Notre Dame, they also have SMU. They cannot go over like last year.
Nope. You can follow Brett McMurphy on X at Brett_McMurphy. Read him at on3.com as well. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, guys.
Up next,
thank you, buddy.
In Pocket Plays, and life is all about expectations. There's nothing worse when they fall short.
No.
Stay informed about your water. Wilmington Water's new website is full of information about your services, and you can easily pay your bill. You can also sign up for Wilmington Water's alert system to quickly receive texts, emails, and phone calls about water outages and maintenance work that could impact your day. Visit wilmingtondewater.gov today for more information about everything Wilmington Water has to offer. That's wilmingtondewater.gov.